right, guys. So let's get back to this. My goal is to try to shorten up these videos so they're not too long. So let's try to go ahead and make a quick 5 minute video talking about the difference between a default VLAN and a native VLAN. And the best way to go ahead and explain it to you is actually by showing you. So let me go ahead. I'm on Cisco Packet Tracer, and mind you, this is for Cisco 2.0 network access, more specifically 2.2.c native VLAN, and that's for the exam description. So a lot of people get confused when it comes to native VLAN versus default VLAN. And the best way to actually go ahead and show you, okay, is by going ahead and actually getting into the switch and getting into the command line. First command I'm going to type in is show VLAN brief. Okay, show VLAN brief. And you guys can see here we got this switch. You guys literally saw me put it on the screen straight out of the box. Okay, there's literally, okay, no VLANs other than the default VLANs. So when a switch comes straight out of a box, the default VLAN and the native VLAN are on the same VLAN one. So default and native are one in the same when the switch is straight out of the box. Okay, when it's straight out of the box, the default in the native VLAN is VLAN 1. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and show you something here. I'm gonna config T. I'm gonna go ahead and create a VLAN 10. Okay, I'm gonna exit out of here. I'm going to try to exit out of here, exit out of here, exit out of here. I'm going to go to show VLAN brief. Okay. And look, so far right now, I've gone ahead and I've, I've gone ahead and I've created VLAN 10. Now, let me show you this. I go to config T and I'm going to go no VLAN 10. Okay, so I created VLAN 10. We see VLAN 10. I go to no VLAN 10. Okay, I'm going to exit. I'm going to go back to our show VLAN brief. And look, it's no longer there. It's deleted. Okay, now what if I do the same to VLAN 1? Right, if I go back to our switch and I click config T and I click no VLAN 1. Okay, and I know what you're saying. Or actually, let's look at what the switch is saying. Default VLAN 1 may not be deleted. And I know what you're probably thinking. Hey, the reason why you can't delete this VLAN is because these interfaces are on there. Really? Okay, let's try it. So we go to config T. I'm going to go to interface range, fast Ethernet 0/1. We're going to move all of these here to switch port mode access VLAN. Let's go back to 10. Invalid. Okay, I know what I did here. Switch port mode access. So I tried to do two commands in one. Again, switch port access VLAN 10. Okay, I go into there. I'm gonna go ahead, interface fast. This is actually a gigabit. Let's go ahead and exit here. We gotta get interface gigabit 0/1 through 2. We're gonna go ahead. Let me see here. What did I do? Mistype here. Interface. Oh, I forgot the range. So as you can see, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move all those interfaces out of the default VLAN. Okay. Switch port. Let's see here. Switch port mode access. Okay. Switch port. Switch port access VLAN 10. Am I mistyping something? Too many C's. Okay. You guys can see sometimes I get a little ahead of myself here, but nonetheless, this is going to paint the picture. Okay. So show VLAN brief. Okay. Look, I moved all of the interfaces out of the default VLAN, right? Now we're going to go to config T. Okay. And I'm going to type in no VLAN 1. Okay, default VLAN 1 may not be deleted. Okay, so The difference between a default VLAN and the native VLAN is that no matter what, VLAN 1 is always going to be there. Now, your native VLAN, okay, your native VLAN, that could be a little different. Okay, let me go ahead. Let's do this really quick. I'm gonna delete this switch. That way I don't have to play around with the ports, so to speak. And we're gonna go ahead and get another switch. Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's bring up this switch here. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm going to configure this switch, but I also want to play around with this switch. And I can show you guys the configurations, but before that, I just want to show you guys, hey, on this particular switch, we already have some configurations, and you guys can already see here. I'm going to go to show VLAN brief. Right, you guys can see, hey, we have the default VLAN, we have our VLAN 10, we have our VLAN 20, and we have our native VLAN 199 native VLAN. And these are these here are on the ports of that native VLAN. Okay, and if I go to show interface trunk, that's the command, show interface trunk, you guys can see here that we still have those trunk ports on this link here. Okay, so most importantly, you can see that my native VLAN is 199. So let me show you guys how to go ahead and do that really quick. So we're going to connect this here, we're going to connect this here, and I promise you this, guys, this command here, inconsistent local VLAN, that it's going to keep coming up. Hey, there's a VLAN mismatch. Hey, what's going on? Because mind you, this switch, we took it out of the box. We haven't configured anything. The default VLAN and the native VLAN is considered VLAN 1. This switch, we went ahead and made configurations to have the default VLAN. We can't really do much about that, but the native VLAN, we can. So this switch right here out of the box, we go into config T. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna create the VLAN. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and create VLAN 199. Okay, we're gonna name it native VLAN. Native. Okay, I like to use all caps for native. Native. We're gonna exit. We're gonna exit. Okay, we're gonna go to show, see this command right here, native VLAN mismatch, native VLAN mismatch. Even after, okay, show VLAN brief, even after I went ahead and created the VLAN and I named the VLAN, that's not good enough, guys. Remember, we have a switch to switch, so we need to create a trunk port, and this is going to be where the magic happens. Okay, so stick with me. Config T, we're going to go to interface gigabit 0/1. We're gonna go to port switch port switch port trunk. Okay, native VLAN, we're gonna name it 199. Okay, and we have to go ahead, switch port mode trunk, make it a trunking VLAN. Okay, we're gonna exit out of here, exit out of here, and I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna go to show, let's see, unblocking, look at that, something good, unblocking gigabit ethernet 01 on VLAN 1, port consistency restored. This command here, okay, created our VLAN. We're letting these switches know, hey, this is gonna be a trunk port, and our native VLAN is gonna be 199. So let me go here. I'm gonna go to show. I want to go to show interface trunk. You're gonna see, hey, look, native VLAN 199. Now, let me go ahead and unravel this. So, did you see how native VLAN 199 is on here? Okay, let's make this native VLAN 1. Okay, so or even better yet, just to prove that we can switch to VLAN and it doesn't have to be by default 1, we can go ahead and switch it to 10. But let me go ahead, before we do that, let me go to show interface trunk. Okay, so you guys can see here on this switch, we have two trunking ports. This port is trunking, this port is trunking, and they both have the native VLAN of 199. Okay, so if I come back here and I go to interface, oh, first we got to go to global config mode, config T, we go to interface gigabit 0 slash interface gigabit 0 slash I believe it was 1. We're going to go to switch port, it was trunk native VLAN, and we're going to switch it to 10. Okay, we're going to go ahead and exit, try to exit, and we go to show interface trunk. Okay, look, we just switched our VLAN. Okay, so native VLAN. So you guys can see here by default, let's see if I come, where were we? Native VLAN. So we configured it to become native VLAN 199. Okay, and before that, it was telling us, hey, it's not happy because at that point in time, this was VLAN 199 and this was technically VLAN 1. We configured it to become VLAN 199 on this one. Switch got happy saying, hey, let me see if I can find the, looks like it's not there here. Oh, there it is right here. Unblocking gigabit Ethernet 01 on VLAN 1. See how I was saying on VLAN 1? Because that was the previous one. Now it's telling us, hey, there's native VLAN mismatch. Native VLAN mismatch. And let me go ahead. I'm going to do one last thing just to prove my point. Let's go ahead and I told you I wanted to make this a quick video, but hopefully you guys are learning a lot with the difference between a default VLAN and a native VLAN. Let me bring up one more switch here, and I'm gonna go ahead and all I'm gonna do, is go ahead and make this a trunk port. Okay, so I come into here. I'm going to go to enable. I'm going to go to interface. Let's go to interface gigabit. First, we got to go to global config. Interface gigabit 0 slash 1. I'm going to go to switch port mode trunk. So I'm just going to make that a trunk port. Okay. And we go to show interface trunk. And look, switch, it hasn't even restored its connection, so to speak, but a switch straight out of the box, if we make it a trunk port, by default it's going to be a native VLAN 1. Okay, so hopefully that brought up the picture with regards to going ahead and describing the difference between a default VLAN and a native VLAN. And look, now we're getting that message. Hey, there's a mismatch with regards to your VLAN, your native VLAN configuration. Okay. Uh, Hopefully that helps with regard to the difference between native VLAN and default VLANs. Okay, get into the Cisco packet tracer. That way you guys can go ahead, get hands on, and that way you guys can do the work as well. If you have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to ask. Other than that, have a wonderful day.